The IRS has announced they've sent out 14 million checks in the amount of $1,232 on average. I have all the details and who will be getting these checks right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss the details of a couple new announcements out of the IRS, including the $14.8 billion worth of checks they just sent out to 14 million people, with an average check being $1,232. Also, I do want to talk about some other announcements coming out of the IRS as far as other checks that are also going out. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it and discuss what's going on. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so. And because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing the research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what's actually going on, as things are changing very, very rapidly. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, so you don't miss any videos going forward. And also remember, I am here for you in any way that I can be. That's my dedication, that's my commitment, and as always, that is my promise to you and everybody right here in the community. All right, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about the IRS announcements, as well as the nearly $15 billion worth of checks going out, as well as other checks that will be going out to millions upon millions of Americans. All right, so first off, let's quickly talk about these checks that I mentioned just a few times already so far in this video, and then I'll get into some other announcements and other checks that are also going out announced by the IRS. All right, so first off, this first set of checks that are going out goes back to 2020. Now, again, I know that was a couple years ago, right? But here's the deal. So way back in 2020, we all know what was going on. A lot of weird stuff that was going on. Well, as a result of all of that madness that was happening, there were millions upon millions of people that were receiving unemployment benefits. In fact, according to the reports, about 40 million people applied for unemployment benefits. That's massive. That's craziness, right? That is a lot of people that are filing for unemployment benefits back in the day. Well, as a result of that, the IRS had a huge influx of all of these different weird things that were going on, right? Unemployment benefits that were being claimed. There were also stimulus checks at the time. In fact, 2 of them in the year of 2020. All kinds of different things that were happening. Well, as a result of that, late in the year of 2020, Congress passed some new legislation that basically said the first $10,000 of unemployment benefits or the first $20,000 of unemployment benefits for a married couple was not going to be counted as income, and it was not going to be taxable. Therefore, for those people that filed their tax returns prior to that announcement, basically, it was kind of too late, right? So basically what the IRS did is they've gone back and they've amended those returns automatically. So if somebody fell into this category, the IRS is now processing those amendments that they automatically have filed and that they've processed on their own, and they're sending out these refunds. Again, $14.8 billion going out to 14 million people, with the average check being $1,232. So about 14 million people are going to be receiving checks like right now from the IRS on overpaid taxes from the year of 2020. Now, it's not just unemployment benefits. They've also done some adjustments to the recovery rebate credit. In other words, the fancy way of saying the stimulus check. So for those of you that may not have received stimulus checks in 2020, you may be getting something here, okay? Now, I don't want to promise anything because I have no clue who is on this list of the 14 million people who are going to be getting checks, but they did some adjustments to the recovery rebate credit. They've also gone through and done some other adjustments to the EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit, as well as the Child Tax Credit and some other credits within the tax return as well, say. So, my point is, there's a lot of adjustments that have been made here. The IRS was automatically going through and processing these amendments, and they're automatically issuing these returns and the checks going out to these people. So if you see a deposit into your bank account, or if you see a check arriving in your mailbox, this is what it's most likely from, okay? It's probably not going to come with a whole lot of explanation. It might just come as a deposit, and you're like, wait, what is this for? Well, this is likely what it is. Now, here's another note. The IRS also mentioned that if you are in the category of one of these people who has not automatically had your 2020 tax return amended, what you can do is they're suggesting file a 2020 amendment to your tax return from 2020. You can do that to claim the extra money that you probably have coming due if you fall into this category, okay? So I would highly recommend, if this is your situation, look into it a little bit further. and see, are you due some money from the IRS on overpaid taxes? Now, a couple other things I want to point out really quickly. In some instances, for those individuals that should have been receiving a check, maybe they applied your refund to maybe taxes that were due or to other debts. So maybe if you were due some money and you didn't receive it, if you do have a tax liability, they would have applied it to that, okay? So it's not like you would have received a check, but rather they would have taken that money that you would have had coming due anyway, and they would have applied it to the liability that you have due to the IRS, okay? So just take that into consideration as well. However, I just want to make this very clear. This is not tax advice. This is not accounting advice. I do not know your exact situation. Everybody's situation is very, very different. However, if you feel that you have money coming due, you probably want to look into it. Here's another thing that I want to point out really quickly as well. You may want to give this a little bit of time. Here's why. The IRS just announced this, that they're going to be processing these, the 14 million checks, the $14.8 billion worth of checks, okay? So they're just doing this now. You might want to give it just a little bit of time to see if you receive a check, just because you don't want to file an amendment and then all of a sudden realize, oh wait, they already automatically amended my return. If they do that, then all of a sudden it might just kind of, mess up the system a little bit. So I would suggest, and again, this is just me personally, I would personally wait a little while just to see, do you receive a deposit in your bank account? Do you receive a check in the mail? Something like this. And if you don't, and if you feel that you're still due that money from overpaid taxes on unemployment benefits from 2020, again, it's actually $10,200 as an individual, $20,400 as a married couple on unemployment benefits. And again, that is provided your income is below $150,000 as a married couple. Okay, so remember those are the thresholds as well. But also remember, they also did some, adjusting to the recovery rebate credit, otherwise known as the stimulus check, or, that's how you claim the stimulus check from 2020. There were actually two of them, $1,200 and $600, a total of $1,800 worth of recovery rebate credits in 2020. And then again, they also did some other adjustments to the EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit, as well as the Child Tax Credit, and some other credits there as well. So just take all that in consideration. It's going to be different for everybody. Just want to throw this out there because they're doling out some money again, and we want to grab what we can, right? And again, I know this for a fact. I've seen down below in the comment section many times over the last couple of years where I've seen many of you reaching out here in the community saying, I never got my first check. I never got my second check. You never know. Maybe you might be getting something here. Again, I'm not really sure because everybody's situation is different. I don't have the list of 14 million people that they're sending checks to right now, okay? I was going to say I wish I did, but realistically, even if I did have the list, I wouldn't have a clue what to do with it because it would be a huge list, right? So anyway, this is just what I know as of right now based on the announcements. All right, so next, I want to point this out as well. The IRS has also announced that the tax refunds for 2022, so obviously we're in 2023 right now, is basically getting into tax season right now, right? We're getting very close here. And as a result of that, the IRS has also indicated tax refunds from 2022 are likely going to be quite a bit less. In fact, I saw some preliminary numbers out there. Now, again, these are not exact numbers, but these are the estimates based on what some people are saying. They're suggesting that the average refund is going to be about $300 to $400 less from 2022 than what it was from 2021. It's a lot of money, right? Especially right now, as most people need more money right now, to have the average refund being down $300 to $400. It's a lot of money, right? And again, these are just the averages as well, by the way. So you might be wondering, why? Why such a huge discrepancy? Well, number one, there were no stimulus checks in 2022, so that could be a reason why. And another reason would be no advanced child tax credit payments. Remember in the second half of 2021, there were the advanced child tax credit payments that were going out to about 38 million households. Well, in early 2022, when people were filing their tax returns for 2021, they were claiming the other half of the child tax credit payment. In those instances, that was anywhere between $1,500 and $1,800 per child. Okay, so we're talking about a lot of money, especially for people who had, a couple kids there. You're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. So just those two reasons alone would make it seem that, refunds will likely be significantly less this year in 2023 for 2022. So when we go to file our tax returns, we're kind of in that season right here, right now, right? When we go to do this, the refunds that people are going to be getting, according to what we're seeing out there, are going to be several $100s less. So, of course, the official numbers and the official averages will be coming in here over the coming weeks and the next couple months here, but this is just what we know as of right now. Anyway, want to bring this to your attention. So if you see a mysterious deposit into one of your bank accounts from the IRS, or a check arriving, that's probably what it is. You might be on the list of one of the 14 million people getting some of that $14.8 billion that they are now sending out. So, hope this kind of makes sense. Please leave your comments, your questions, and your feedback down below. If you need me to elaborate, I can always do that further. Otherwise, I do my best to read as many comments and questions as I can each and every day. And then, of course, come back and make dedicated videos where I see fit. Otherwise, hope this one helps you out. And I hope that every single one of you watching this video gets a check. But again, I cannot promise that. I have no clue who's getting a check here. All I do know is that the parameters that I just laid out illustrate who will be getting a check or who maybe do a check that might need to file an amendment to a 2020 tax return. So just want to make this very clear. I hope that you get a check. I really hope that you get a check. Seriously, everybody needs one right now. So anyway, wishing you the best. And again, let me know down below if you have any questions on this. I can always come back and make another dedicated video if I need to. Anyway, enjoy. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands upon thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later.